Today we're going to spend a lot of time doing some wiring of the brain. And to give you a concept, every biology major learns it this way. We learn the bottom up, inside out. So we're going to go up from the thing you learned last term, which is spinal cord. We're going to go from the bottom up this way, and we're going to go inside out. And so we're going to learn the brain parts basically bottom up, inside out to make some sense of it. So last term you learned spinal cord, which is here. So now we're going to go into the green land of the brain. What's that bottom part of the brain called? Brain stem is a good choice. So we're simple people, we are. So our first part of the brain that we're going to learn is the brain stem, or the bottom of the brain. And in the brain stem we have generally two things. There's these big bumps here and here. What's the lowest bump of the brain stem? Medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata is the most bottom of the brain. Alright, so now we're going to stop there and figure out what the medulla oblongata is for. Anyone tell me why you have a medulla oblongata?
Isn't it for like respiratory breathing? And
It is.
Nice.
So two things that your medulla is for. The way you're going to learn it in your notes is the word life support. Tell me at the hospital, what does life support do for you?
Keeps you breathing.
Keeps you breathing.
Keeps your brain working.
Keeps your brain kind of functioning how? Heart beating. So let's do all those. The life support your medulla means breathing. Physically, does the air go in and out? Heartbeat. Does your heart actually go on and off? What else would keep you alive besides breathing and heartbeat? What are some other things you might need? Temperature, that's higher up actually.
Sugar.
Nope, that's higher up. No, you're thinking way too high. Coughing. What happens when you don't cough? You choke. When you choke, you die. That's how that works. All right? Believe it or not, a sneeze, a vomit, all those things are things that keep your airway clear, keep your esophagus clear. So if you don't vomit, you die. A couple other little things in there. There's a fancy word we'll learn later. Anyone tell me what vasomotor or vasomotor tone means?
Blood vessel tone.
Very good. So basic blood vessel. So in other words, your blood pressure. In a very basic level. If you don't have blood pressure, blood doesn't go to your brain, you die. So your medulla oblongata's job is basically to keep you going. My heart's beating, I'm breathing, I'm coughing. My blood pressure's sort of basically there. That's life support. But there's another thing you're going to do in your medulla oblongata besides life support. This has a big word. You're going to do decussation of the pyramids.
Oh, like iris.
Hey, can someone tell me in English what decussation means?
The crossing over.
Crossing over. Crisscross. You learned that last term. So decussation of the pyramids is doctor speak for crisscross. So let me show you a picture from last term. They supposedly remember. You don't remember at all. Then I will show you what we mean by the crisscross. So if you remember, let's do this one. Here. Remember some of these pictures you had last term on the spinal cord, talking about the tracts. If you remember this gory picture, I sliced with a razor, broke your foot, right? And all your information somehow magically ended up on the opposite side of the brain. That was the decussation event. So your right side of your brain and your left side of the body was opposite. So the fancy word for that is to decussate. And that usually happens, as this picture shows, somewhere in the medulla oblongata is where you cross the wire to the opposite side of the body and the brain. So let's put some more detail on decussation. Decussation is the right brain is going to be wired to what part of the body? Left body, very good. And the left brain will be wired to the right body. That's That's what we mean when we decussate, and that usually happens at the very bottom of the skull. But there are some exceptions to that. Yes?
What's the reference to the pyramids?
That's an anatomical, creepy old tradition. Let me show you. Do I have that picture? I have that picture.
That's encouraging, isn't it?
Creepy old anatomy.
It is. Yeah, okay, here's the best we figure out. You gotta think like a drunk Roman here, alright?
Cutting open
So
a
they
slave.
cut open people's heads and looked at these little funny bumps here. They said, well, that looks kind of like a pyramid.
What?
Yeah, that's my argument. What? So to some Roman, that looked like a pyramid.
Well, they must have been.
They were. And therefore, those are called the medullary pyramids.
I'm going lead poisoning as to why.
That, hey, worked for me. But it got in the books, the medullary pyramids, and therefore, decussate means to cross. We cross at the pyramid is there, therefore, you know.
The pyramid is answer really to like a bunch of nerds?
Yeah, it's basically a bunch of nerves that look like a triangle,
That looks like
and they
a-
call them pyramids. Honestly, you look at it, I know what I should see, and I still don't see it.
Yeah.
That's me. You know. But don't get too bogged down in the literalism of the pyramid. Just know that's what they call that spot where the wires cross. But there's a few details we have to add to that, which is which wires are crossing. So let's go back over here and a little bit of detail. This goes back to last term. The wires that decussate are your corticospinal tracts. Someone help me out from last term. A corticospinal, is that ascending or descending?
Descending.
I can change your grade at any time.
Descending.
Descending. How did you know it's descending?
Because the spinal was on the end part.
That's right. We're starting here and going down my spine, so I'm a descending track. Is that sensory or motor?
Motor.
It's motor. And can you remember from last term, corticospinal, what kind of motor was it?
For temperature and sensation.
Voluntary. So in English, your voluntary motor crossed in the decussation of the pyramids. So your corticospinal tract. So when you want to move your right hand to take notes, your left brain is actually where those signals occur. They cross your medulla and they go down. That's just the thing. There's a few other things that cross the medulla. The other one is the dorsal columns. Now go back to last term. Does someone remember what the dorsal columns were? Were they sensory or motor, up or down? Say sensory.
Sensory.
They were sensory tracts. And they were for things like touch. They also cross in the medulla oblongata. So they decussate as well. So if I tickle your right foot, your left brain is getting the message. It's going to cross the medulla oblongata. But wait, there's more. We'll put it over here. We have another one you were supposed to remember from last term, which is spinothalamic tract. Is that up or down?
Ascending.
That's up. So it's sensory, right? Spinothalamic. Can someone remember for me what spinothalamic felt?
Heat and temperature.
Pain, temperature, that kind of stuff. That was a thalamus. Good, you remember those things. The problem with this tract is it violates the rule I just taught you. It has decussation at the spinal cord. Now, what in the world does that mean, decussation at the spinal cord?
Crosses to the opposite.
Crosses over where?
The spinal column.
Within the spine. So it does cross over. I'm not going to lie to you. It does become this right-lefty thing. But instead of at your brain, it does it at the spinal cord level. Right? So a different location, but the same exact biology of it. So in English, for your studying, almost everything is going to cross into the brain. Touch and movement do it at the medulla. The thalamic tract does it at the spine, but eventually everything is in the opposite end of the brain. So for our notes for your test, everything's going to cross over. Just different locations depending on its temperature versus touchy-feely versus motor. Yes?
Is spinothalamic the only one of what we're learning
Yes.
that crosses the spine?
There's a few others, but for our class, that's fine. Yes?
But you said touchy-feely, that confused me because pain is a touchy-feely thing?
Not that kind of touchy-feely.
Not that.
Tickle, tickle is touchy-feely. This is ow, ow.
All right.
It's different. That's scientific, you know. So a different level. So if I tickle you and it becomes painful, it actually changes where it crossed in your brain. In the brain is fine. So I'm going to show you that picture. Just give you a picture here.
So this is more if you cut your hands in the stove.
Yes, the under the stove kind of thing.
They're more severe.
Right. So this one is showing, just to show you a crissy-crossy kind of thing, decussation. So here we have some, touchy-touchy. Here's some touchy-touchy. They go in your spine. They go up to medulla oblongata. We're going to decussate our pyramid, which sounds obscene. It goes over, and then it continues up your brain to the opposite side of the brain. So if this were my right hand and foot, my left brain is getting the message. Right? That's perfectly okay to decussate at a pyramid. Now these ones are also decussating. But I didn't tell you last time when I showed you this picture. But this is an owl, I hope, right? This is an owl. Notice they're crossing where?
Spine.
Right at the spine, right at the beginning. But they do end up in the opposite side of the brain. So they're decussating just in the spinal, not the medulla. Just the same biology, just different location. And then just to add a little more complexity here. These are motor tracts because I'm moving muscles. So corticospinal, and notice where they're crossing is basically right there, which is the medulla oblongata. So they're going to decussate on their way down. Medulla. So in English, everything crosses medulla except for pain and temperature, which crosses the spine. Okay, decussation? Yes.
Are you saying that the sensory cross from the right to the left and the motor comes down?
Well, opposite side. They're just showing one side only. So both sides would cross.
Okay,
Okay.
I was just wondering if there's a rationale or if we
Not at all.
understand why they cross at different places.
No.
Just
And there's actually no rationale why they cross at all. I mean, why do you need a right brain, left body? I mean, you can just, I didn't build it. What's weird is not every nerve does that. There's this weird one in your abdomen, the skin, that doesn't cross at all. So
Is it faster?
who knows, right? I didn't build it. But all mammals do this. All mammals decussate. But why? I don't know. Something to learn on a test. So let's go back to our brain then. So in our medulla oblongata, which I think I have here, we learned that the medulla oblongata basically is keeping me alive and crossing most of the wires. We're going to now go up to the pons, the next one in our brain stem, this big green button right there. So number B, we're going to put our pons. Latin means bridge. So pond is a bridge. All right, well, what do they do? What's it bridging? What's it connecting?
That's hard in the brain.
Spinal cord and the brain. True, but so does the medulla. What's so special about this bridge? Ooh,
Bridging right and left.
that's my job. Here's the phrasing that Saladin will use. He will say, connects your high brain to the cerebellum, which tells you 0. Okay, where do you think your high brain is in this picture? If you're a drunk Roman, where do you think the high brain would be?
The
The top, right? Up there, that's high brain. Okay, now the problem is cerebellum, you haven't learned yet. Where's that?
down right.
Down here. So if you were to draw a line from here to there, you kind of vaguely have to drunkenly go that way. You have to go through your pons. So the pons' job is to connect this upper, the wrinkly part, with basically this back part. It's bridging the high brain and the cerebellum. Okay? And we'll talk more about that when we learn about the cerebellum, but there's another job it does besides connection, which is to regulate breathing. Wait a minute, I thought the medulla did breathing. Doesn't it do life support?
Right.
What's the difference?
Medulla is the actual action, and this is the rate.
Very good. So in life support, all I'm doing is breathe, yes, breathe, yes, breathe, yes. You're just breathing. This says faster, slower, deeper, shallow. So it's telling you how to breathe. So as long as you're breathing, you're alive, but this is regulating breathing.
So would you call the high brain that's solid than the cerebrum?
Yeah,
Okay.
basically. Everything above this.
Okay.
It's basically what it is. So my pons is to connect my brain a little bit and then regulate the breathing in the medulla, essentially. So we get our pons? All right, so we did our medulla oblongata and our pons. That sort of ends the brain stem. Now we got this funny little chunk right in here. And that has a variety of names, so we're going to give them 2 of them, just to mess up your life. That is, I'm going to use that M word right there for where we are now. We're in the midbrain. So this would be number 2. If you don't like the word midbrain, you can use Saladin's phrase, a mesencephalon. Pick an M. I'm happy with it. All right, but literally that means middle of the brain. It's the same word. But this is an area just above the brain stem, but not yet into the meat of the brain. We're right about here. So I'm going to point out 2 things in here that you have in your midbrain. With A. One of my favorites, hint. There's a thing called the corpora quadrigemina. Just sounds like it is. Literally body of the 4 twins, but we did it.
I just know mesencephalon.
MESENCE with an E.
Okay.
PHAL. So we're going to look at this guy right here, corpora quadrigemina. He is responsible for visual reflexes and auditory reflexes. At some point, one of you should raise your hand and question me about what something you learned last term. What was something we learned about reflexes last term?
That you can have them on the same side,
Oh, yeah,
or
that's
you
true.
can have them opposite.
What did I say? I kept stressing stuff about reflexes. Reflexes don't require a what? A brain. Well, look here. I'm using the word reflex and a brain, so you should be yelling at me.
Why?
Why? Okay, let's review what a reflex. What made something a reflex? What about the circuitry made it a reflex?
It's an A.
Involuntary.
Right, it was involuntary. And that's what we're sort of hitting here. So don't get all neurotic that, well, reflexes are the spine. They are. But you can have reflexes in the brain, but they're still an involuntary, automatic, subconscious thing. Right? So you're not controlling this. The brain is doing it on its own. It's still a reflex. The same 5 parts of the arc would kick in, except your brain then instead of the spine. Now I'm going to figure out what in the world is reflexive about my visual. Tell me something your eye would do that would be reflexive. Blinking. What else?
Adjusting the light.
Very good. So your pupil, blink when the bug hits. All those kinds of things are visual reflex. Right? You don't have any control of your pupils. You don't know if the bug's going to hit you. So the brain does that in the corpora quadrigemina. Yes?
So all the other reflexes
Yes.
happen in the spinal cord except
Yes.
for visual and auditory.
Pretty much. There's a few others in here, but
Okay.
yes.
Right, of course.
So there's an harder one. Give me an auditory reflex.
When you
Hearing.
jump when you hear a sound.
Yeah, turning to a loud noise.
What
There's
about
something inside the ear that controls
What
the
about
wire.
ringing of the ear? Like when you get,
That's kind of this.
okay.
It's an effect of this, yes.
What about equilibrium stuff? Is that related? Or?
That's not here.
Okay.
That's related, but not here. So your corpora quadrigemina is basically going to be blinking your eyes, adjusting your pupils, controlling your ear, turning your head. Babies do that, right? Things that you would reflexively do with vision and hearing. But not the actual hearing and seeing. That's separate. Those are just the reflexes. Okay, your corpora quadrigemina? All right, one of my favorite places. But then, if you look, there's another thing right here, which is this green blob here, which is called the cerebral peduncle. Let's put our peduncle in there. Peduncle? Yes, I do. It does. It sounds like some 2-year-old made this up, right? Peduncle. Pyramid's peduncle. All right. Alright, so cerebral peduncle are major tracts. So remind me from last term what tracts were. We mentioned them already today.
They went up
Yeah,
and
ascending
down.
and
Ascending and descending. So these are major tracts to and from the brain. So these are wiring circuits that have come up the spinal cord, gone past the medulla, past the pons, and now are heading up into the brain. They're so stinking big, they call them a peduncle, just to give them a name. That's just cerebral peduncle. There's major wires. In fact, in lab, you'll see them. They look like a mushroom coming out of the brain. Those are the tracts to and from the brain. That's all happening in this little green spot here. Make sense? So now we're going to jump to the blue spot. Be a little higher up. Inside out. So we're in this area here. One of my favorite ends of town. This is called your diencephalon. That used to be, they used to call it midbrain until they realized they already had midbrain. This is called your diencephalon. There are three things, and I'm going to list them here. We're going to do them on that board over there. The one that you're going to look at right in the center, right there, the one that's your eyeball landmark in lab, we call the thalamus. Ooh, ah. So, if I look at this little dot right in the center of my brain, and I follow the arrows up, they're going to say something about thalamus. So now, if I were to take my mouse, be a drunk Roman, and go below that, somewhere down here, how would you say below your thalamus? Hello, hypothalamus is also in my diencephalon.